What if I told you that pretty much everything you think you know about the hardest working countries on the planet is just wrong? Let's get into it. Go ahead, take a guess. Just think of a country. You got one?
Okay, because if you guessed Japan, or maybe South Korea, or even the United States, you're not even close. The real answer is going to be a surprise for sure. All right, enough suspense. Let's do the big reveal. Who really takes the crown for the longest work week? First, I just want you to look at this number, 54.5. Just let that sink in for a second. And we're not talking about a one-off, crazy week to meet a deadline. Nope, that's the average, every single week. That's like working almost 11 hours a day, 5 days a week. And here it is. This is where all those assumptions just get blown out of the water. The hardest working country, by hours on the clock, is Bhutan. Right behind it, you've got Sudan and Lesotho. I'm willing to bet that wasn't your guess, was it?
But this whole story isn't really just about one country. It's about a massive, massive split across the globe. It's truly a tale of two totally different work weeks.
I mean, just look at this. It's wild. On one end of the spectrum, you have Bhutan with that huge 54.5-hour week. And on the complete other end, the Netherlands, where the average is a pretty relaxed 26.8 hours. That's literally less than half. This absolutely massive difference, we're talking a gap of almost 30 hours, is what we're calling the work week gap. And it shows just how differently people around the world experience their daily working lives. When you see it like this, the scale is just staggering. You've got the highest and the lowest, and then there's the global average sitting right around 38.7 hours. So this isn't some small difference. We're talking about two completely different realities of work. So, okay, the big question is, why? Why are some people working so many more hours than others? Well, the data points to this really crucial idea, the difference between just working more hours versus actually producing more. So for the countries with those super long work weeks, it usually boils down to the type of economy they have. We're talking about industries that need a lot of manual labor, not as many part-time jobs available, and, smaller social safety nets. People basically have to work longer just to make ends meet. But then you flip it over and look at the countries with the shortest work weeks. The story is completely different. These are places with highly productive economies, a ton of automation, and, this is key, really strong labor laws and protections that actually encourage a good work-life balance. Okay, so this brings up a really interesting question for a lot of us, right? You've got these two extremes. So where does a major economy like the United States fall in all of this?
The average work week in the US comes in at 36.1 hours. Now, at first glance, that puts it below the global average, which sounds pretty good, but that's not the whole story. See, when you put the US side by side with its peers, a totally different picture starts to form. At 36.1 hours, Americans are working quite a bit more each week than people in Canada, the UK, and France. So after looking at all this data, from Bhutan all the way to the Netherlands, we kind of land on this one big idea. Maybe it's time we start to rethink what hard work even means. It all comes down to this one simple question, doesn't it? Is working more really the same thing as working better? The data seems to scream that the answer is no. So let me ask you again, what country did you guess at the beginning?